So I'm hoping to just one take this and just let everything get out there and make it as raw as possible, as minimal editing as I can. I'll obviously try to cut parts that I don't believe are important or whether there's a long pause. I'll obviously cut that out in post processing. Also, a bit of a whatever, but I know that my voice sounds very weird. I've had a surgery about 2 months ago, and it's affected my voice to the point that I can't speak properly. So that is also one reason why I've not uploaded to the channel or very seldomly live streamed. But today I want to talk about my health and where I'm at with it. And before I start with all this isn't a ploy as some sort of sympathy vote for me. It's just me venting out loud and speaking what's going on in my mind with what's going on. So 6 years ago, I had a transplant, a liver transplant, because of a disease that I had at the time called primary sclerosing cholangitis. It's a very weird, complex disease, but it basically breaks down to the inflammation of the bile ducts within the liver. Is what I kind of get what it's about. I'm sure that I've probably got that wrong, but I had a liver disease, or at least that's what I thought I had. In the end, after my transplant, it was actually determined that we don't actually know what kind of liver disease that I had, but I'm just going to put it as being as PSC, as it was diagnosed to me as PSC, but on later inspection post transplant, they didn't realise or didn't know what it was. But regardless, the liver is out. I am currently living with a transplanted liver, and about 2 years after that, just before COVID hit, I was under the assumption or under the idea that I was going to have another transplant. In fact, I was actually listed back onto the transplant list at some point between 2020 and 2021. I can't know for certain the dates because that time of my life, that time, I think for everybody was a massive blur. COVID was happening. The whole world was under an immense amount of pressure. So for me to even remember that date would be nigh on impossible. But fast forward a little bit, I was able to get off that list. I was able to have my liver perform better, become better. And it's been working properly for ever since, up until a month ago. Well, actually, more like 2 weeks ago, but I noticed a month ago where symptoms started to happen, where my body was bruising, and just mild knocks would mean that I would be bruised for 2+ weeks. In fact, I've got one that's right at the top of my arm that I can see right now that's been going on for about 4 weeks now. It's only just starting to slightly fade. It's still quite noticeable, and it became a concern for me, and I ended up going into the hospital about it. I had an appointment with my liver team anyway, and they suggested that I had a biopsy done. Now, the biopsy has been done yesterday. I'm awaiting the results, and I need to have blood tests to further figure out and measure my levels of blood for my liver function and my kidney function. But to cut a long story short, I believe I'm probably going to need another transplant. And to have to think about that is a massive ordeal for me. And I'm completely, and I'm being real with you, I'm unsure what to do. The issue with the transplant, and I'll say this, is that I haven't been the same person since the transplant. I haven't been the same person. I see life as quite, not necessarily unfair, and I don't, you know, obviously pity myself, but I do not, I don't enjoy life as it is anymore, and I wanted to use my transplant 6 years ago as a second chance at getting on with life and being able to pursue life and pursue what I wanted to do. But I've been unable to. I've been completely and utterly sick for the past 2.5 years. I had COVID before that. With the whole COVID lockdown, I was locked in, so to speak, over here in the UK. The vulnerable were told to keep in, so I wasn't allowed out of this house really for nearly a year and a bit. And before that, I obviously had my issues with the transplant and having to have a surgery that I had to correct parts of my transplant. My medical history I could talk about forever, but I don't want to be here. That wasn't the point of this video. The point is that I don't know what to do, and I know for a fact that, well, I don't know for a fact, so I've got a strong feeling that I'm going to be looking at another transplant, and I hope that I don't, but at the same time, I don't even know whether, if I was to be faced with another transplant, whether I want to go through all of that again. I think that people put such an emphasis on dying and it being the worst thing ever, but to some, in some respects, it's the kindest thing that can happen to them. My bones have gone completely and utterly bad. I've got the bones of a 90-year-old woman. That is they do like a scan test, and my results were that of a 90-year-old woman. I have a fractured vertebrae within my lumbar part in my back. I've got Crohn's disease. I've got obviously my liver being the way that it is, and I know that there are people that have it worse off, and I know that. Honestly, my whole way of going forward in life since the transplant is that kids are dying of cancer. Kids die of cancer every day in places like St Jude's Hospital and Great Ormond Street over here in the UK. And they're the people that I feel sorry for. And again, I don't want this whole idea or this video to be seen as a pity show. I don't like pity. I don't like it. I hate being pitied upon. I just wanted to vent what I was thinking in my mind and why I am thinking this way. And I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of people now that not so much depend on me, but a lot of people that love me and want me to continue to be here. I have my nieces and nephews, I have my godchildren, I have other people that I don't really wish to talk about on the internet in such an open and free place, but they know who they are. And I wouldn't say I'm scared. There's a lyric, actually, Robbie Williams, I believe it's in Feel, and it goes along the lines of I don't want to die, but I'm not keen on living either. And that genuinely is the way that I feel right now. I genuinely feel as if I'm not ready to die, but I'm not keen on living either. And I don't want this to be the final chapter of my life. I'm nearly ring 30. I'm 30 in 2 months' time. 2109. And I just honestly have no idea what is it life in store for me. I know that obviously people have unsureties of their life at any age, whether it's relationship or family or personal. And I get that, but I genuinely don't know what to do with what's going on in life right now. And I just wanted to just put it out there in a video and just fill this side of the internet that I've been on for nearly 7 years now on this channel, nearly 13 years on my old channel. But yeah, I'll be back hopefully this weekend with Path of Exile, new league start. That seems to be the only thing that keeps me going, is like league starts of games and concerts that I'm going to and events that I'm going to. They're the only things that keep me going, which I know sounds really weird when I've got so many people, but I tend to try and keep the way that I keep going is that I see a date that I'm going to something. Example, I'm going to see Within Temptation in November. I need to make it to November, and that's how I keep myself going, which is a sad reality, but I just need to figure out what's going on. Take care all.